Hi, Flosstube.
Greetings.
I'm Laura.
Hi, Joe.
Welcome to the Soulbug Farm.
Let me see. I believe the exact response is, hey, y'all, to all you new people. Hey, y'all, to everybody who subscribed and came back, or who aren't subscribed and came back. Subscribe if you came back twice already. We're that good. This here is where we talk about Flosstube. You know, cross stitching, stabby, stabby, froggy, rip it, rip it. Where's my bug? If you didn't get those, you'll learn.
Well then, today is Monday, June 8th.
We decided to process. You will notice different things happening in the background, literally.
We've cleaned. All of the seasonal stuff's put away. We are in the process of putting our house on the market. I do need to probably put this away, but I had to leave it up for Flosstube today. Because today is the 2-year anniversary of Anthony Bourdain's suicide.
Yeah, well, they also probably can tell our religion by that.
Yes. Definitely. A sad day for me, an Anthony Bourdain lover. Let's see if I can put this back without completely going crazy. Close enough!
Yay!
It has been a crazy 2 weeks in our world. And I would just like to very publicly...
2 weeks?
In our world, and I would like to just very publicly say, I have no tolerance for hate. And I very firmly believe that Black Lives Matter. And if you cannot support that, this is probably not the channel for you. Because while we both agree and fully, comprehend, yes, all lives matter. But right now, Black lives are under siege.
Let me put it to you this way. There is no reason the people who are meant to protect and serve this country should have a death count.
Yeah. I spent most of last week very distraught because one of my very good friends is a woman of color, and her daughter obviously is a woman of color, and they live in Maryland, and we were supposed to see them in April. So I was very upset that I haven't been able to see them, and then the whole world just kind of has exploded into craziness against colored people, and I just want to hug them. I just want to hug my Victoria and my Squeak.
I want to go find all the people who think all this BS is a good idea. And I think I'm going to need a redwood tree that says common sense with how dumb these people are getting.
I mean, yes. Tearing shit up, pardon my French, is stupid.
But that's the minority of who are doing it.
You also have to maybe wonder how much distress these people have been under that they're succumbing to people riling them up to tear stuff up. And in the last week, the protests have greatly calmed down, and they are all peaceful and calm. But I'm here to tell you that we firmly believe in the saying Black Lives Matter, and if you cannot accept that, this is not the place for you.
Actually, if you can't accept that, go please read the Bible.
Yeah, there's that too.
Or whichever holy book you got. Y'all need to get in touch with your Lord. My sermon's over.
Okay.
That sermon got Southern. But then again, usually when I think of a religious lecture, I think of someone who's Southern, and I have family who are, so it's where I get it from. We are of God people, and if anybody's going to give you a religious sermon, then my family down there will do it.
Yeah, last week I struggled for what to say, how to say it without coming across like an ass.
Basically, in the last week, her give a crap broke.
Yeah. So, why don't we talk about our lovely friends who have commented on our videos and are just absolutely fabulous. Don't read the last names, remember. Start from the bottom.
Bridget, you can tell the last name if you check the thing. Same with most of these. That's why I don't get it. Glenda, Lynn, Renee, Lynn again. Bridget again. Andrea, and who's your apple?
All of our regular friends giving us love.
Except for Victoria and Squeak.
And lots of congratulations on hitting 100 episodes last week. A couple of people wanted to ask if we could fast forward to 2021, and I'm there, people.
No,
I'm there.
I'm sorry. You cannot fast forward. You need to sit down. The world needs to literally sit down. And as many a country song has said, the world needs a drink. Y'all need to sit down, get hammered, and hammer this shit out. There's no fast forwarding. It's going to take time. And if you jump forward, it's still going to be there. You need to fundamentally fix the attitude in this country. I'm trying to get off my soapbox. I'm sorry.
And Joe responded to several comments about his stitchy bug that he was going to lure his stitchy bug home with whiskey and chocolate. And it must have worked because he has some whippage to work to show.
I'll wait until the next edition for that.
So we're going to move on to whips.
Okay. Who's got their bug back? Me! Oh, and to those who are not used to me,
if y'all are not regular subscribers, regular viewers, welcome to the party.
Normal's sitting on a washing machine, and I'm not a washing machine, so there ain't no normal on me. Okay, I got work done on my Hyrule Zelda Light roadmap. It is hand dyed by the Slovak farm, 18 count Cleveland crud. I got a little bit of work done, like the last outer edge of this from here. For all this, the stuff in here, and the green. I actually want to do it not gray. It's not gray. Yay. I've been doing gray for a long time.
Gotta love that background on a 16-bit.
Yeah, it's just a cloud.
Alright. Let's talk about what I've stitched on this week.
Get comfortable.
We were at Little House on the Prairie this week, Daily 30. Daily 30 is a challenge group. It is closed. I will let you know when it opens up to membership, if I have the opportunity to let you know. Honestly, if you're not in the group and you want to be a member and you're a regular viewer, you need to send me some sort of social media contact so that I know. Also, I need to check my Enchanted Stitches and see. I joined the group because I wanted to participate in the challenges, but honestly, I may not get to them until after we move with this moving thing.
Yeah, moving basically means you have to turn your house into a showroom, which means you're not allowed to live in it.
And Myth and Magic started a new round last week. My clan is not participating. We all had too much going on, and we just decided we're going to take a break. And I think it's worked out for the best for most of us, because most of us are kind of struggling right now. So, Little House on the Prairie. We had to stitch on something that was Halloween. I don't do Halloween.
What's funny is she could have borrowed something from somebody. But enough stress. Yeah, I like Halloween. She thinks I'm weird. No, she knows I'm weird. Who am I kidding? Are you almost done? Do I have to bust down the dancing?
I'm pretty sure I put it away. Pretty sure I put it over in the trunk. Hold, please!
We have returned!
Okay. So I don't do Halloween, so I just used one of my Daily 30 monthly rewards to substitute without having to take penalty stitches. So I stitched on Cardinal Points Because this has been neglected. It needs some love. I need to give some love to some of my other projects.
Well, you were on a memorabilia.
I was on a mirror kick for May. So,
Mhm.
and I realized this morning I never posted my final stitch counts in any of my Stitch Mania or my stitching group.
Oh, by the way, I kind of gave up on the idea of doing a stitch along for my birthday.
Okay.
I don't have time for that right now.
Okay. Okay, well, so I did 316 stitches on this, which the stems on these two flowers, and this flower, and then the stem all the way across. I think there might have been some leafage in there. I'd like to get that middle page, and I'd like to get the top half is 3 pages, and the bottom half is 3 pages. I would like to get all 3 pages across the top done by the end of the year.
She would like to get the northern hemisphere completed.
But I don't know if this is going to happen. And we're not going to stress about it. I've got no stress.
Can I get on my little soapbox real quick?
What?
Cross stitching is a hobby. If you feel like you need to be stressed to do any of it, you need to step back. That's what I do with my D&D. If they start stressing me out, I'm going to go, yo, this is my fun. You want to take your drama and stress me out? I'll leave.
Well, we're going to get there, so just relax. Okay.
I've been wanting to tell you that for a while. I'm just in a no mood.
Had to stitch on something that had ice and snow on it. Santa's house has ice and snow on it.
There we go. I got it.
I
want to do something.
Cardinal Points is stitched on 18 count Cleveland Fog.
Yes, we have Cleveland Fog. We have Cleveland Crud.
Lake Effect Morning. And they're all grays. Because that's Cleveland. That's Cleveland winter for you. I actually really do.
You know what? You need to make like a nice yellow, bright, vibrant yellow. We call it Cleveland Hope. We hope to see sunshine.
As crummy as winter is in Cleveland, in the Northeast Ohio area, summer is beautiful. I have Lake Sky Day. It's a beautiful blue. But I haven't found anything to stitch on it yet, so. This is stitched on a 14 count Silk Weavers Mountain Rose Opalescence. I put 306 stitches in it in the workshop, which was most of the girl, I think. I have the strip of her. No, that's the table. So the girl is all done with the exception of her back stitch, and the 2 boy elves have feet. And that's it.
The way you said that, the 2 boy elves now have feet.
The 2 boy elves have feet, and that's it. The goal is to finish this by the end of the year. I found that the rooms do move pretty quickly. So
because the background was a lot of solid and the rooms are kind of hollow.
Background a lot of solid. So we had to stitch on our project that is closest to being finished. That is Miss New Year's Fairy. I have to unfurl her bottom.
You know, it's not very nice to do to a lady.
I know.
Oh yeah, ladies in this house.
Bust her out and untwirl her bottom. I have completed all of the back stitching on her. Her fancy ballet shoes, her clock, and her wings. All the back stitching is done. I put on the beads on her collar and the top of her dress, and then on top of each wing, these antennas, there's beads. This is done on a 28 count Silk Weavers Opalescence in the colorway Fantasy.
Is that the one where you went crazy?
What do you mean? And it's done in all metallics. This is obviously not the charted colors. I should have probably said that.
Here's a theme for my lovely wife. What are charted colors?
What's it called for?
Half of that's because of the different clubs you're in that give you really cool colored stuff.
Yes, I do a lot of color changes because I'm in Victorian Model Thread of the Month and Silks for You, Silks of the Month. So I just try to find what's similar and use that or switch them.
And thank God some people have been nice and gave you had the one shots were willing to trade. Because I remember you crying over that one. It was a gray, I think.
It was the color for the horse on Redforth Singing. And I didn't even need the second skein. But I still appreciate the person who swapped for me.
That's little things you don't have to share.
I did 303 stitches on New Year's Fairy.
You know, if you ever just said a number with 2 zeros, or a number, a 5 and a 0, I'd probably fall over dead. But at least there's not decimal points.
Yeah, I just didn't even count the halves this time. Don't lie. Okay. We had to stitch on something with a rabbit, a chicken, or a squirrel. I'll have something with a rabbit, a chicken, or a squirrel in it. I did, however, have one more bonus left from April, which I used.
Oh, this stuff was issued like the last one or the last days in April. So she got away with doing that.
It was given to, so the challenges are she puts a new challenge out every Friday and you have 2 weeks to stitch on it. So, Friday, May something or other, 29th, 30th. I think it was the 29th. Was that Friday? Yeah, it was anyways, it was when we got. So I can use my roses. So I used one of my roses to sub out, and I stitched on my Lord of the Rings full coverage. I regretted that decision. There's a lot of confetti on this. I picked. So what I'm doing is I'm picking. Obviously, 10 by 10 blocks are 100 stitches. So 200 stitches, 2 blocks, 300 stitches, 3 blocks, blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
This is just on a white 18 count Ada. So I just picked 3 blocks and plugged away 3 blocks. Yes, this is folded in half. It's a monster. I did this block, and that block. And it's a lot of confetti. It is his crown. And you can see the detail on his crown. You can see the detail on his crown starting to emerge, which is why it was a lot of confetti. I might have been slightly grumpy working on this Friday night on Virtual Stitchers. I was like, I am not going to bed until I finish these 300 stitches. And at about 10:15, I said, nope, not finishing these 300 stitches because I keep finding colors that I've already stitched. Most of them, but there's one stitch left that I missed, and I'm getting grumpy, and nobody wants to see me grumpy and irritable. But they did anyways. That's beside the point.
No, nobody needs to see you go down that hill. Because it's a really steep hill. And the deeper you go, the more psycho you go. So let's get you at the top of the hill before you build up some speed.
So I had to stitch on a project that has been our BFF. And I picked my Shannon Christine Bell. Because one of my very good friend, Victoria, gifted this to me when we were going through some rough times with someone. And I started this for my birthday, which was supposed to be the weekend of the retreat. And I was missing my Victoria. I wanted to love on her. So I stitched on Belle. Unfortunately, I only managed about 87 stitches on Belle.
What?
I didn't get anywhere near the required 300. I have until Friday to finish it. If I get 200, I get 2 tokens. It is what it is. I was like,
We have other things to do besides cross stitching right
I've
now.
got stuff to do. I'm tired of being stressed out about being behind on challenges.
And
because
my soapbox earlier.
I get stressed out about being behind on challenges because I have a job and I have 2 businesses that I run from home and I have a dog and I have lots of life responsibilities. So, Belle only got 87 stitches this week, which was the bow. What was that?
Chopped liver.
You're one of those life responsibilities.
You mentioned the dog. Your job. Husband, what's that?
So there it is. If I get to the rest of the stitches before Friday, I do. If I don't, well, I don't. The end. The end of that soapbox. No,
You said the end.
No, I said the end of that soapbox.
No, you said the end. Then error.
I did my monthly stitching on Sunday.
Look, I have a hat.
I did my stitches for the monthly challenge on Sunday. And we had to, so the June monthly is about a picnic, is we're having a picnic. So we had to stitch on a public place or event or someplace public we would visit. Excuse me while I pull floss that was hanging randomly. So I stitched on nothing more public than Main Street, USA.
Main Street, Wellington. Who are you kidding?
Yes, this is Main Street, Wellington. We'll just do a nice roll. This is stitched on 14 count, hand-dyed by the Slovak Farm Ada Solo. You know, most of my projects are in Ada. There ain't nothing wrong with Ada, people. I finished up Rexall's Drugstore, which was basically just these 2 things. And then I worked on the flower shop. I did 510 stitches on the flower shop. As you can see, I'm in the midst of stitching. I pulled this out for, I'm doing this for a challenge for the prompts that were released on Friday. I'll get to that in a minute. What?
I just had a really good idea for this.
What?
If we can, if our new house has a solid wall behind the bed, this can go behind the bed.
We do that. But this is, so, did Main Street, Wellington. As you can see, I have 1, 2, 3 buildings to finish. And there's a lot done on that building.
So you have
I
1.5, 2.
may finish this. The 300 stitches will not, for this prompt that I'm working on it for, will not finish out this building because I'm like almost 200 stitches into it. But we are chugging along on that.
Choo choo.
So that was my stitching for the week. I did a total of 1,822 stitches this week.
I don't count mine. You couldn't pay me to count mine. If you want to count mine, fine. I'll get a GoPro and put it on my head. You can count it. Aren't they so nice?
Yes, you are. No haul. No haul.
I don't think
So-
you can haul right now if you wanted to.
I could, but it's not at the shop yet. I have a couple things on order from Shelly. So, we'll move on to plans. Plans and announcements. Plans?
Dragons.
You said that on Saturday. Dragons would be easier to stitch at the outside market.
Because dragons, I don't have to worry about which color I'm on. And there's no which stitch. Dragons is one single thread. It's just variegated. So I don't have to worry about did I miscount it? No, none of that stuff. It's just do the pattern and good. Then I miss my dragons.
Very good. He misses his dragons. Plant. My computer just did something really weird.
So did your face.
We're celebrating Ice Cream and Daily 30 this week.
You want to go Dairy Queen?
Okay. We are celebrating Ice Cream and Daily 30 this week. So we are to Spitch.
Why are you beating your stitch?
I have no idea where that word came from. Oh my god.
Spitch, stitch, switch. What? Spitch. That's.
Okay. Because that one's real close from being a slip of the tongue to a naughty word. We have to stitch on a piece that has something wrapped or held in something else, obviously to represent the waffle cone. The cone. Use our imaginations. I have done crappy planning this week. I don't have pictures of. I haven't pulled most of my projects for the week.
I thought of a really good one for the in something else thing.
Stitched on a piece that has something wrapped or held in something else. I haven't stitched on One Nation in a while. And both of its blocks on WhipGo have been culled. So technically by the end of the year I need to finish a red stripe, a white stripe, and the blue field of stars.
That does have words and stripes.
So yeah, the words and the state names inside the stripe borders would work for something inside something else. And I'm probably going to go with that, even though it's not as creative and as imaginative as my original idea.
I had 3.
My original idea was to work on Lord of the Rings.
I thought it was for a different prompt.
At the point that I was on a tangent when these came out. I was like coming up with all the creative stuff.
Next.
A stitch on a whip that has something small and round or something you can tie into a bean or beans. It's got something to do with vanilla beans, I think. I think we had both unanimously decided New Year's Fairy because I want to get her done. Stitch on a whip that has something cold and something warm. Doesn't have to be literal. But it's going to be pretty literal because pretty sure my shadow lane has a snowflake on it, which is cold, and a fairy on it, which is warm. And I have not stitched in that in forever. And I want to stitch on her.
Oh, she wants to know why the fairies warm tell a fairy fire.
Okay. Stitch on a piece that somehow relates to music. I think so.
You already had a great something. Why did you watch Lord of the Rings?
Oh, that's right. I watched Lord of the Rings. Okay, so I had to watch Lord of the Rings. Well, okay. I took a class in college that was about music and movies, and we had to watch a movie in which music played an important role in the film. And we all know the music in Lord of the Ring just iced that cake. So, and looking at my choices, this one over here goes, yeah, the only one you're really going to want to sit through is Lord of the Rings. So I picked Lord of the Rings, which I'm really glad I did, because I really do enjoy the movie.
Yeah, this is the guy who's read The Hobbit, all 3 books, and watched I haven't watched the Hobbit movie because, yeah.
I've heard mixed reviews on the Hobbit movie, and I'm a little.
I'm sorry, but The Hobbit was the smallest of the three of the books. Each Lord of the Ring book, they didn't even get a full flipping movie out of the books each. 3 movies, and they got 5 out of 6 of the volumes from Lord of the Rings in 3 movies. And then they took the smallest book and stretched it out into 3.
But I've heard it's really good.
Maybe one of these days.
So I'm like,
Okay, off that. Squirrel!
So let's see. Somebody relates music. Okay, so stitch on a whip that depicts something old, vintage, or retro. That is what I'm stitching my Main Street for because it's vintage Wellington. It's from the 1950s and 60s, so.
Technically, aren't those buildings from a lot older than that?
Well, the buildings are vintage. The buildings are 200 years old. Most of the buildings are 100 to 200 years old. The businesses are retro because they're from the 50s and 60s. No, they're vintage because they're from the 50s and 60s. We're retro.
Okay.
And then we have bonus challenges this week, which are 50 stitches each. Not too tough. We have to tie our stitching into the wording in each prompt. One of them, the first one is about an ice cream shop that sells cold sweat ice cream, which is ice cream that has hot peppers in it. And I definitely said I'm going to stitch on Lord of the Rings and actually do 100 stitches because Viggo Mortensen makes me break out in a cold sweat. I was on a roll Friday. Bonus number 2, hot dog ice cream. I still ain't figured out something to tie into that.
Hot dog ice cream?
Yeah, hot dog ice cream was created in Arizona. And I just figured out what I can stitch on and how I can tie it in that.
Okay.
Because the reason I'm stitching cardinal points is because of Miss Christine Stitch All the Things, or as I like to call her, Miss Nabel All the Things, and she lives in Arizona. Weird ice cream flavors in Tokyo. Several seafoods, so I could probably do shores for that one. There's an ice cream shop in Maine that serves butter flavored ice cream with lobster meat in it. Again, shores would work for that.
I just gotta say, lobster I'm allergic to, so no opinion. But butter?
And a Philadelphia ice cream shop serves pizza flavored ice cream.
Honey? Ask her which one.
It's called Little Baby's Ice Creams.
Because next time we go visit my mom, we're making a pit stop.
I'm not so sure about pizza flavored ice cream.
You can have a chocolate.
But I guess I could probably tie something, whatever I stitch on for that prompt, into you. That looked kind of creepy.
Actually, you want to know the one that would fit really well?
Huh.
So, anything to do with the water because Philly's on the river?
True. My wonderful hubby is from New Jersey, which is right next to Philly.
Yeah, I'm from southern New Jersey. I literally, the last place I lived with my mommy, you can actually walk 3 steps. You can walk about half a block, go to the bridge over the creek, turn it. Oh, look, there's Philly.
But I don't know if I'm going to get super bonuses because lots of stuff going on. And I'm just not going to stress about getting stitch challenges done at this point.
Okay.
So, that's been our Stitchy week.
My spiel time.
What do we want the people to do, darling?
Have a really good day.
Yes, we
and stay safe.
And stay safe.
And not punch, beat, or otherwise, yeah. I would like everybody, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Like, share, comment, a bell notification. You know the YouTube thing.
That's what we would like you to do. So until next week.
Bye.